So there's a lot of talk right now on the internet about the GATE program. And for anyone who's never heard of it, GATE basically stands for Gifted and Talented Education. And so something I've talked about a couple of times in my interviews, I don't think I've ever talked about it on here, is I grew up in a military family and on the East Coast, about 30 minutes outside of Norfolk, probably like 30, 45 minutes outside of Langley. And so the town that I'm from is basically a military town. I mean, it's just like a regular civilian town, but almost everyone there is military. The school I went to had academy in the name, and all the kids were basically like military and government brats, intelligence brats, right? But they used to, gosh, I think it started like right around first grade, maybe second grade, but they started pulling me out of class to do all these weird tests on me, right? And I thought it was normal. I didn't think anything of it, but most of the tests at first were like precognitive tests, right? One of the main ones you hear a lot of people talk about is one that I remember, and that's the hearing test, where you basically raise your hand before you hear a tone in either your left ear or your right ear while you're wearing headphones, right? And they're pretty good at it. And so, like I said, it was completely random. I had no idea when this was going on. Just randomly, someone would pull me out of class and test me. And so, like I said, it was mostly precog at first. But as I don't know if I went to like a second tier of it or what, because I definitely crushed the precog. But suddenly the test started shifting more towards how well you can keep a secret. Like, would you do what was morally ethical even though you were told to do the opposite? That kind of stuff. Like, I'm assuming they're screening for like some type of like military stuff. It's mostly around how well you can keep a secret and if you would follow orders, even if it was seemingly unethical, right? And I never really thought much about it, but it was really ramping up. This was like the tests were becoming a little more frequent, and I was like one of only like 2 or 3 kids that were doing this, getting tests, and I was getting tested by myself. And they would pull me out of class very randomly. I had no idea. It wasn't like every Monday, I was getting pulled out. It was completely random. But the weird thing is, I always knew when they were going to pull me out. I would dream about it the night before, and I'd be sitting there, and I would just hear the teacher talk about what they were talking about in the dream, and then boom, I'm getting pulled out. And like I said, it was ramping up quite a bit. And then at the end of the school year, I go home, my parents have everything all packed up, and we're moving to Washington. So that's how we moved to Washington. But after that, it stopped happening. And I just thought it was like some normal thing that schools did. And it really wasn't until around like 2012. There was a lot of the kind of like super soldier people coming out talking about it. And it kind of made me remember it. And even though I think a lot of the people from that whole train of thought, the super soldiers and stuff like that, I think a lot of those guys were fraudulent. I think a lot of them weren't exactly telling the truth. And even worse, I think some of them were straight up hustling people. But that's what got me to think about it, because I immediately started thinking, like, wait a minute. What was those tests they were doing? Didn't think anything of it. And this is before people were really talking about the GATE program. I think that kind of came later, like 2016, 2018 or something. But I just thought that was something that every school did, but then none of the schools in Washington did that. So Yeah, you know, it's and the weird thing is you know, my brother, he's pretty psychic and pretty capable on a natural level. He doesn't put any work at it, and it's probably a good thing. He's kind of a psychopath, like a legitimate one, you know. But it was, but he never got pulled out, because I figured like maybe he was getting tested too when I brought it up to him. He didn't know what I was talking about, so I don't even know what they were really looking for, you know. But it's fascinating, and it's like I said, you know, I just thought that was something every school did, but none of the schools I went to when I left Virginia did that. So yeah, it's kind of a popular subject right now. There's a couple documentaries that just came out. People are talking about it. So it made me think, like, hey, maybe I should share this story with some of y'all. But yeah, check it out. I'm like that one chick walking out in the desert talking about the gay program. If you research gay program, I forget the name of her channel. She seems like a cool person though. But if you look up the gate program, you'll probably see her. She's just walking out in the desert talking about her experience in it. Yeah, it's what a weird thing. I wonder if they're still doing it. So if any of you guys know or have any experiences like this, or even with a family member or something, yeah, drop that comment down below. I'd love to hear about it. But yeah. Yeah, the weird thing is, though, is how I always, even though it was completely random, I always knew they were going to pull me out of class. I would dream it before. When I was a little kid, I used to dream what was going to happen to me before it happened to me. And that's one of those reasons why I don't really believe in free will. You know, I have a romantic idea about free will. I would like free will to be real. I just haven't seen the evidence for it. But that's a video for another time. So I wish you all the best on your magical journey. You guys all take care. Check out all this sage back here. Yeah. There's even more down here. And right behind me, boom. Yeah, it's all blue sage mostly. There's a lot of white sage too, but they're smaller, so you don't see them as much. Yeah, so anyway. Yeah, you guys all take care. Have a good one. Like, share, subscribe. All that good stuff. Peace out, guys.